Hi, my name is David Lipsey. I'm the chairman of the Henry Stewart Conferences. I'm here today with Douglas Hegley, who's the Director of Media and Technology at the Minneapolis Institute for Arts. Douglas, thanks so much for spending a few minutes talking with me today.
It's a pleasure to be here.
We had the chance to first meet when you were at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and I was trying to remember, you've probably told me this story before, but when did DAM click in for you? Was there something that happened?
There was. It must have been 2001, 2002. We'd taken the photo studio digital. The Met has about a dozen full-time photographers. They were taking these wonderful high-res digital images, looked fantastic, worked for print, worked for online. It was great. But one day I visited the studio and I was walked around the corner, a closet door was open, and inside were boxes of CDs spilling out onto the floor. Some poor intern had been in there rifling through them, trying to find some photo that they'd taken 6 months ago, because none of it had ever really been sort of cataloged. And at that moment, immediately you think, this is crying out for some kind of database, an index, a repository, an authoritative source to put these assets and where the assets could be found quickly and easily by anyone who needed.
What a good pivot point for getting a basic idea like, there must be a better way here. What are some of the reasons why DAM has become important there, and what mission and mission-ish critical operations is DAM supporting in Minneapolis?
Well, as I've said many times, museums not only have wonderful things that they study, preserve, and interpret in many ways, but you're not a museum until you throw open the doors and engage the public. This day and age, our target audiences are engaging with us on digital platforms. Every organization that deals directly with customers is a digital publishing house, if they're honest with themselves. We create all kinds of wonderful digital assets in order to craft compelling narratives, entertaining stories, delightful experiences for our audiences. We need to put those into a system, they need to be readily available, and we are striving to be omnichannel so that people can interact with us across multiple methodologies through multiple interfaces and get the same experience each time.
You know, when I think about Omnichannel, I think about entertainment, I think about sports. Does some of the vernacular of that world come into your thinking about how we put our digital assets to work?
It's the same world. Our competitors are not other museums, right? To the public, museums might as well be franchises of a single corporation. We're competing with the mall, we're competing with the entertainment industry, we compete with Netflix. Anything that takes people's leisure time and dollar, that's our competition. So we need to live up to that level of organization and quality and immediate accessibility that those organizations provide. We have to do that with a very lean operation. It's always a challenge.
And in meeting that challenge, are you finding the opportunity to put both, we'll call it rich media, time-based media, to work, as well as the traditional accomplishments that museums have in terms of background information, photography, and so on and so forth, and then in reaching out to create an engaged visitor, or I guess a visitor. How's that mix of things going?
They're all sort of parts of the same animal. So we have these digital assets that are very collection related. Photography, great, wonderful close-up photography of paintings. We need in the same set of systems marketing materials, ads that have been in the paper, photos that have gone out through Twitter or Instagram. Because what we're trying to do here is, of course, reach, attract, and then build loyalty with our audiences. So the full spectrum of assets have to come into play for that. Our marketing and PR people had never really used digital asset management before. They'd make things, stick them in their own personal folders, and away they'd go into oblivion. Now what we're trying to do is provide the one logo that's available in the system, right? A copy of the ad, a copy of the font, so that these things exist and can be accessed and played across whatever channel you might be using to interact with an audience.
Can DAM help sometimes in getting exhibits ready?
Funny, I thought you were going a different way with the question, because as we plan exhibitions, of course, we load assets in. Exhibitions commonly are objects that we borrow from other museums. So as those objects come in, we either get the photography from those other museums or we take the photos ourselves. We load all of those in the system very rapidly because exhibition designers use those images in a digital interface to think about how they're going to arrange the exhibition. So that is a very effective use of dams with a group of people who wouldn't have even thought of it 5 years ago. They would make little cutouts of cardboard and stick them around. Now they actually do it digitally. It's much faster.
Yeah, how fun. So, as you've seen the marketing departments adapt to the idea of I've got one place to go or a more central place to go, pretty good uptake? Is it working well?
Ask me in 6 months.
Okay.
We're kind of in the early stages of this. Museums are learning as we go. It's an iterative process. We have to make it easy to use. That's really vital. These are not technical people. They're people who are busy. They have a lot of jobs to do. So it has to not be a hassle. It has to be effective.
I think as I hear that, I hear a best practice in DAM, which is it has to be easy to use. We've talked a bit about smart connectivity and being able to have a central system find things for multiple purposes. What are a couple of other characteristics that you'd say make up best practices in successful enterprise DAM?
You mentioned a couple of them. I do think that we have to make sure the systems run on very standard hardware, software, and or in the cloud. Museums are not in the business of running complex technology operations. They have to be well designed in terms of how much they're storing. Storage costs money. Be careful about that. APIs and the capacity to integrate with other systems is vital for us. We need to be able to reach across multiple repositories to pull all assets quickly and effectively through a simple interface. We're actually building our own in that way using Elasticsearch. So far under testing has been very successful. Like I said, ask me again in 6 months.
I'll look forward to that conversation. Douglas, always a treat. Thanks for being here today.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Bet.